Alrighty, we are live with my good friend and fellow real estate agent at Platinum Real Estate Professionals, Cami Lincowski. Cami, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hold on, Mike. I'm doing something.
She's busy right now. Currently,
okay, sorry.
if you don't follow Cami, you definitely should. We will drop the handle when we're all done here, but you probably already do. She's got a reach that's quite impressive due to obviously prior to real estate, which was creeps. Yeah, you want to dive into that a little bit?
Sure. I used to be a tattoo model. My tits weren't out, but I was a tattoo model, and I did reality TV, and then I got into real estate, and that's how we all met.
Yeah, what reality TV shows have you been on?
So I did Celebrity Big Brother in the UK. I did Say Yes to the Dress, Say Yes to the Nest, X on the Beach in the UK, All Stars, or I don't even know what it was. And then I hosted a Models in Rock, which was a tattoo competition. I hosted that. And just, yeah, that's it. Just a bunch of tattoo magazines and covers and all that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm fascinated by it. How does that happen? Like you do one and then you do another. Do you have like an agent that's helping you get, or just like they liked you and then they find you and they want you to put you in another one?
So it's obviously not like how it was, back in the day where you're like, oh, my agent's calling. Like now, like, producers or casting directors, they contact you directly through Instagram because that's their direct line to speak with you, so it's good to skip an agent. But yeah, I mean, I had an agent, and then it's one of those things that like they snowball. People look out for things and they see it, and then they contact you, and then just go from there. But no casting couch here.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question.
Yeah, no.
What would be your favorite out of all the experiences?
I would say Celebrity Big Brother, because it was like my first like diving into reality TV, like being me, like because it's like a social experiment. They have cameras on you all day and you're living with people that you don't know. You don't have your phone. You don't see production at all. So it's just one of those things where I didn't expect it, and it was wild.
How long were you stuck in that house for?
So it's 31 days, and then I made it to day 28.
Wow, almost there.
Almost there.
And then what happened at the end? How'd you get kicked out?
Through the back door, because I was over it at this point. But I mean, I just wanted to go home and like eat normal food. And I think it was like a surprise elimination or something. So like they had like an hour, from what I understand, the audience had like an hour to vote, or the public, whatever. And I guess I got the least amount of votes, which I was totally fine with because I wanted to go home.
You'd mentioned that you were kind of sick of the food. Is it like very rigid as far as what you're allowed to eat there? I mean, at that point, did they have Uber Eats?
Yeah, no. So have you been to the UK? Have you seen what they eat? Like there's no like seasoning on their food. Oh. And not just that, it was, so we actually did good. Like, I guess in Celebrity Big Brother, and I hadn't really watched it. I had watched like one season before. I guess it's like they make you do tasks, right? Our house was so much drama, we barely did any tasks. But we had to do tasks to get like a certain amount of money or budget for our grocery list. So like if we failed a task, then they'd be like, okay, you have $350 or pounds to get whatever you want. But we didn't. Thankfully, we would win them all. And they would like leave a little iPad like in a cubby, and then it would say like all the stuff on there from the grocery, and then it would say how much it is. And then you would say how much money you would have to get that stuff. So, but they were like, let's all have like shepherd's pie. I'm like, fuck, no, I don't want to eat shepherd's pie, because it would last. Yeah. Because nobody's eating that shit. Yeah. But you're hungry, you're going to eat it. So I have not had shepherd's pie since.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I enjoyed me a good shepherd's pie.
Well, nope, I am traumatized. I have PTSD from shepherd's pie.
That sounds like it. That's awesome. That's a cool experience, though.
Oh, yeah, I would totally do it again, maybe. Possibly.
I got to think just it's super,
enough money.
Yeah. How vulnerable. I mean, though, like you're literally being monitored 24/7.
There was a microphone right above the toilet.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would probably be the most uncomfortable, I'd guess, right?
Uh-huh.
Or just tracking like you're sleeping, watching you while you're sleeping.
Everyone. And then people like they fart in their sleep, they walk. Like these people are celebrities. I was probably like at the bottom end of the totem pole, let's be honest. And like they walk in their sleep, they talk in their sleep. I remember the first night I went to the bathroom and there was piss all over the toilet. I came out and I was like, who the fuck pissed all over the toilet? I was so grossed out. Some people had to sleep in beds together and they didn't like each other. You know, like it was made for conflict. Like if you were fighting with somebody in the bedroom and you're like, I'm done, I'm not going to speak with you about this anymore, they will lock the door. They could lock the door, production. So they would leave you in the room so you guys could fight about it.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be, I wouldn't be able to do it. As far as like, I put my best foot forward and it's very limited what I put together when I go out in public. But behind closed doors, like I'm a mess. And I think sometimes like, man, like if the world saw me just like kind of doing my thing in the morning, walking around pretty much, you know, my boxer shorts, but just like picking my nose, scratching my butt, like, but to be on 24/7, like I could not do it.
I feel like now if I were to do it, I would be on. But like because I was so new, you really did get like raw, like me. Like you got me. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have my best moments sometimes. I told people off, you know, I would drink too much sometimes, but I was so fucking bored in there. I had to do something. But yeah, so I mean, I was a little asshole, let's be honest.
Yeah. How old were you then?
28 or 29.
Okay.
No, that's 28.
And you flew out there just to do the show?
Yeah, well, they fly me out, yeah.
Wow, that's neat. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, and to gear up for this, admittedly, like I don't watch a ton of reality TV show. Obviously, I knew about kind of the stuff you'd done. I watched YouTube, Say Yes to the Dress. I watched the episode where you were searching for the black dress last night.
Oh, yes.
That was cool.
My mom, yeah, everybody loves mom.
Yeah, she was actually, you know, I'm a sucker. I'll read comments and just look for like negativity, but like overwhelmingly positive. Everyone loves you.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, she's going to get divorced. And I'm like, wow, thanks, guys, for your well wishes. So nice.
I didn't see that one. I saw everyone was just like, you know, singing your praises, saying, oh, I wonder what she's up to now. And some people actually knew about like, oh, you know, she's doing great. She's doing real estate. She's got a family, like all this good stuff. But a lot of, you know, whenever I read comments, I can almost guarantee there's going to be some negative. I didn't go, I'm sure I could have found some. Yeah. But for the most part, like it was just, you're very well received in that world.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, that's really neat. And then you've kind of, I guess, parlayed that into, you know, what is now your real estate career. What is that like going from kind of the reality TV show to actually, you know, now doing real estate, pretty high level too? Well,
yeah. So, you know, it was kind of at a crossroad where like I was getting serious with my now husband, but then boyfriend. And, you know, I had kind of, they wanted me to live up to this reputation of being single and just being an asshole, you know, and I was seeing Brent when I first started Celebrity Big Brother. Like we had just started dating, so I kind of lied to the producers, and so I had to see it from his point of view, where he's like, listen, like this, how's this gonna work? You know, I can't be a secret forever. Let's figure this out, you know. So I got my useless degree, my master's in nonverbal comm, and I was like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do with this now? You know? So we talked about it, and I was like, how about I get into real estate? Because my husband, as you know, is one of the top lenders in Vegas. And he's like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, well, let me just try and see, you know? And just got my license and went from there. But I mean, at the time, I didn't even know like left from right. Like I didn't know Henderson and Summerlin. People would ask me, I'm like, yeah, I love that area.
That's right.
Yeah, you faked it till you made it.
It's true.
And that's what I did. And here we are.
What year did you get licensed?
2018.
Okay.
So 6 years.
So you started right at Platinum, our current company. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that was right around the time I switched over. I started in 2015, started at like a smaller boutique broker, and then I switched over to Platinum around 2017, 2018.
Yeah, because I remember, I think you were like newer, but you were doing really good, because I remember somebody saying that. And I was like, whatever, I don't care. It's about me, not about him.
That's right. You got to have that kind of mindset where it's just like, hey man, I'm focusing on my stuff. Nobody else is. Like, good for them. But reality is like, I got work to do. Yeah, if
I love you and Molly, so I'm happy for all your success, you know, but if I don't like you, I hope you have explosive diarrhea and that toilet doesn't work at the showing.
We love you too. I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's one thing too about you that I noticed, like initially before we kind of like, because we had worked, you know, we were coworkers to a degree, but like we weren't really like chummy. We didn't really talk that much. You were in one office, I was in the other. We were very friendly, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I wouldn't say that we were friends. You know, we were friends.
No, we kept to ourselves for sure.
But and a lot of it was like I was intimidated by you. I mean, I'm sure you get that quite a bit. Like
all 100 pounds of me, baby. Yes.
It's scary. It's scary. You give off this like, you know, intimidation where it's just like you don't want to get on her bad side. And over the years, it's me and my wife, we've gotten to know you and know you, how, wonderful you really are and how sweet you are. We still see that sometimes. And we're lucky enough to be on the good side, but we can see that.
I love you guys.
Yeah, it's possible that you could flip it and you're not shy of telling people how you truly feel about them, which I appreciate.
Yeah, not many people do. But yeah, no, yes, I do have a really tough exterior, but I do have like, if I love people, I love hard, but if I hate you, I mean, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad we're on this side.
Yes.
We'll keep it that way.
Yes.
And speaking of your husband, obviously he's, it's fascinating whenever I talk to couples because you don't see it a ton. I mean, you see couples try to do it, but you actually are accomplishing it at a high level where you're doing real estate, he's doing the loan side of things, and you're pulling it off. Like that's super difficult. When Molly, my wife, when she got in the industry, she was on my team. And it was getting pretty clear, like, this is going to be a problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was having a hard time as like, just as a team lead, the way I would talk to my agents, I literally would just talk to Molly the same exact way, and that would not fly. But at the same time, it's like, well, I can't give you special treatment. You know what I mean? Because then the agents, other people won't look at you with the same respect. And then they won't look at me with the same respect. How come you're sleeping with the boss? Now all of a sudden she doesn't have to make her calls. So it got really uncomfortable real quick. So I like the idea of like working together like you do with Brent, but also keeping it separate because it's like you do the real estate, he does the loans. Do you find like that works out pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, there are times where I'm like, did you call that person back? And he's like, I'm like, would you like to sleep on the couch? He's never slept on the couch because he does call them back. But yeah, I mean, there are times where I'm really frustrated and I'm like, can you like drop what you're doing? Hi, I'm here. Can you take care of what I need you to take care of? But everyone's like, oh, he must give you leads. No, he doesn't. Okay. I give him leads. Let's get this out there, guys. I give him leads. Okay. So yeah, I give him my clients, because I trust him and I know he's going to do the best that he can to win those clients and have them to be repeat, customers. But it's hard sometimes for sure because, he can't do, whether it's like he can't help him on the rate or he just can't find the income to get him approved for a specific house that somebody wants, and that sucks, as you know, in this industry. And especially where interest rates are, people are getting priced out when, 2 years ago they would have had their dream home and now they're kind of contemplating, do I wait and see if the, interest rates are going to go back down or should I just grin and bear it and get this house that I'm not crazy about because what if they go up and then I get priced out even more?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. What are you advising your clients right now if they're asking you that? What should I do?
Well, I don't tell them to date the rate. I'll tell you that. Okay. Because the rate is going to rape you. So no, I mean, I just they ask me like, listen, what's going to happen? I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I knew because if I did, then I'd buy some lottery tickets. All I tell them is, listen, if you love this house and if you can afford this house, then get it. Maybe you'll be able to like refi down the line, but I don't want to be that person that you look back and say, this fucking bitch told me to get this house and I can't afford it. So I always tell them, if you can get it and you can afford it, get it. But if you can't and you're questioning it, don't do it because I would hate to put somebody in a situation like this. This is like one of their biggest decisions that they make and they regret it and then resent me for it.
No, you nailed it too. And people are they just very limited thinking as far as just like, if you give somebody like this false sense of what you think is reality, but it ends up not being, because you can't guarantee it. Sure, the Fed said that they're going to lower the interest rate 3 times. They also
but
said
guess what? They've gone up.
Right. And they said they were going to lower it 6 times. And then they kind of backtracked and said 3 times. They don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like just by them announcing it, that affects the market. So almost like they do it on purpose to just get buyer demand. Oh, they said they're going to lower the rates. The buyers start to come out and that kind of picks the market back up. So it kind of does what they want to do without actually having to lower the rates. I've noticed this. And so, but yeah, I'm the same way. I teach my agents, like, be careful. Like, don't tell them that, it's going to lower because you don't know that. All you can do is educate them. And like you said, if they're in a position where this is the house that they want and they can afford it, then you can help them facilitate that. But beyond that, don't be talking shit, something that you don't know for sure is going to happen because we don't know.
No, you don't. And people are just some agents, they drive me nuts and they like tell their clients these things just because they want to get a check, when in reality, like this is someone's livelihood, just for you to get a check. Like that's so selfish to me. And I'm an asshole. I know selfish, but that's really selfish.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, and we talk about real estate in terms of like referrals, like that's the name of the game. Like they're not going to refer you ever. It's very short-term thinking. Like you're going to have, maybe you might get a commission, but that's going to be the extent of it. They'll never refer you.
They'll get a bad review too.
Yeah. And they'll motherfuck you every chance they get. I'd rather not. I'm the same way. So Yeah, I mean, I don't envy your husband on the lending side of things. You have to get super creative right now in this market.
He does, and there's a lot of people that get disappointed because they don't get the numbers that they want, but he can only do so much. You know how many like loans he's not making that much money on because he's literally going so thin to try to help these people get their dream house or to get them into a home because they don't want to rent. I give it to him because he does like work really hard, and he deals with a lot of emotions, like from everyone, the agent, the buyer, the seller, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, like there's just so many moving parts for him. Whereas we deal with our client, but he just deals with everyone because no, I can't get an extension, or I need an extension. No, or the EMD is going to go hard now, and then he feels responsible. It's just things like that, and people don't understand that. They think that lenders just take the papers and get the loan done, but it's a lot of moving parts.
You've nailed it. Like over the years too, like it's one thing to be able to put together a loan and be good at that because that's an art in itself in some ways, but like it's the communication piece that you mentioned, like communicating with the clients, communicating with the agents, letting them know, hey, where we're at. Even if it's bad news, let us know. And that's such a huge piece when you're partnering with the lender, and your husband's been wonderful at it. Our experience is working with him. Like it's great. Like, let us know, hey, it's a deal, not a deal. Either way, we get it. In this market especially, it's really tough. And even if there is a deal, sometimes it's like, cool, they're pre-approved for $250 and they want a single family residential. Like that's not going to happen out here.
No, you got to get a condo, if that now.
Yeah. And good luck if it's, FHL, like there's so many different things where it's like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Kind of what we talked about. Like I personally don't see the market coming down. I see it continuing to go just with our inventory. It doesn't make sense for it to continue to go down, rather not to continue, but just to go down in general. Like with our inventory the way it is, unless there's like some full-on economic collapse, then yeah, of course, then everything's going to go down. But as it stands right now with our inventory, I still seeing us either staying the same like we were or ticking up.
Yeah, and people just are always like, oh, the market's going to crash. I'm like, okay, hun, keep telling yourself that while you live in your mom's basement. Like, don't be quiet. Like, I hate when people say that. It drives me nuts.
Oh, it's the same people too. Like, you want to convince them sometimes. You just realize you throw your hands up. Like, these are the same people that have been saying this for years. They've been saying it for 20, 30 years. I'm waiting for the market to crash. I'm waiting for the market to crash. And when the market crashes, guess what? There's fear in the air. They're terrified. So the last thing they're going to do is spend a good chunk of change on at home. That's just how it is. Like Bitcoin's a perfect example right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's going crazy right now. It's almost at all-time highs.
How the hell did it go back up? I don't even know how that works. Like the mining and crypto and Dogecoin, whatever. Like how the fuck, where are they getting this Bitcoin? Where are they getting it? Where are they mining it from? Somebody know?
I don't know.
Like space? Like I don't understand. How does this work? If somebody wants to like tell me, slide into my DMs, please, and explain to me how Bitcoin is a thing. Like what it's not tangible. Like it's not like what is going on? How does this happen?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I have a small position just because I realized, and I could not tell you exactly what it is. Like I understand kind of, but I have no idea how it comes to be, the halving process. I do know that like at a certain amount, it is a finite. So it's like there's only so many. So that's what makes, Bitcoin in premise so valuable because it's going at a certain point, it's capped. And I think like over half or a good chunk of them have been lost because that's the thing too. Like because it's not tangible, you have them in like a sequence of keys. And if you lose your passcode or something, like they're gone forever. So there's probably billions of dollars in Bitcoin that are just gone forever and that'll never be found. There's a lot of smart people, though. Obviously, Elon Musk, say what you will about, he's an intelligent dude. There's a lot of smart people that are moving in that direction. And so I'm thinking just as like, hey, man, hedge your bet. Like just put a little piece there. Don't like obviously load the boat in crypto, but like you should have a small position there just in case because you never know what's going to happen. And that seems to be where a lot of smart people are putting their money. So that's kind of where I'm looking.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I get that. But like, how about the people that are buying like real estate? In like a virtual reality,
right?
Like, what the fuck is that? Can I curse on here?
Yeah,
Like,
okay,
totally. Like, what is that? Like, what are you buying, hun? What are you buying?
Yeah, that whole metaverse
it's the
thing.
Sims.
It's weird. And people paying a premium for it. I mean, that's the idea behind this is eventually we're all going to live in the metaverse.
Yeah, what? You're going to be a fat slob living in like those pods, drooling with the fucking, headphones on and like some tubes going all over you because you're a fat fuck lazy, not getting up because you want to look like Brad Pitt in the metaverse. But if you can work out, then you'd look better in real life.
You nailed it, but people don't want to work out. They don't want to put the effort. And unfortunately...
It's called Darwinism. Okay, then you don't want to, then bye.
Yeah, I don't argue with that at all. And I agree with you 100%. I feel like eventually there is going to be a fork in the road for humanity where some of us that are unhappy with our lives, that are fat slobs, that just don't like our physical appearance, that are just depressed, unhappy, I don't know, just you name it. They would rather go in the metaverse where they can plug in, they can pretend to be Brad Pitt and just, just have that type of life.
Well, they can stay there.
That's exactly what's going to, and then there's going to be people who are like, I'm good on that. I actually kind of like being a real human being here. And I do think there's going to be some sort of divide. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I see it's going to be, there's a lot of people that are already like walking around with these damn VRs, now that they just came out, I forgot what it's called, like $3,000 for them or something.
Oh, the Apple ones?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
They're driving with them. It's wild. And I can't. Pretty soon, everyone's going to be wearing them and shit. You got the Neuralink by Elon Musk. Have you seen? They just successfully did that.
And he, didn't it say they paid with a credit card or something recently or something like that?
It's my understanding it's an implant actually in the brain, and this person is capable of like having a conversation right now. And if you ask me ask me to describe Bitcoin, I would be able to come up with the answer, and it would be like reading it to me through my lens or something. It would it's crazy, and it's just at the tip. We're scratching the surface. Now, here's what's scary. Not just in real estate. I was going to say like an example of like going on a listing appointment and like you literally have the script in your brain feeding it to you. You know what I mean? Like you would just be the best real estate agent ever. But the seller would also have that same exact information to where like we're all technically, if you're hooked up to Google, you're controlled, but you also have all the information immediately at your fingertips.
But the information that is being allowed to be fed to you, though, so you're being controlled, and that's are making they're giving you the narrative of what to do because they are feeding you that. I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No, this is a great conversation because that's actively happening right now.
Yeah.
Google's AI. Have you been following this?
I try to stay away from AI. Don't care for it. Like, I don't want to have sex with robots. I don't really.
Not until they got it down.
Not until I got a flesh penis.
Well, no, Google's in hot water right now with their artificial intelligence because say what you want, and this won't get political, but they, tech likes to go. They're a little bit on the left. They're more woke. So you would just ask AI, artificial intelligence, hey, show me a picture of our founding fathers. And for the sake of being as diverse as possible, which is their mission, it's literally showing you like African-American founding fathers or just African-American like World War II soldiers, like where it doesn't make sense.
We're talking about Mount Rushmore founding fathers, correct?
Correct, yeah.
It's just, that's what history is. History is just that.
Right.
Unfortunately, some people may not like it, and there's been a lot of casualties and horrible events that have happened, and I think they're horrible, and we've learned from them. But to change the actual history is crazy to me. Like, this is history. This is where we came from, unfortunately, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And it's good to learn from it, but to change it doesn't,
I agree with you 100%. And like, are we without sin? Of course not. Like, like a lot of what we did in the past, like it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But yeah, you can't change history. And when you're supposed to be an authority like Google and artificial intelligence is supposed to be taken seriously, and we're asking, hey, show me, depict soldiers in World War II. And like the American soldiers are Asian or they're Hispanic, like that's not accurate. So they're under hot water right now because it seems like something that should be an objective truth is leaning politically.
I didn't even know that. I haven't even heard of that. I had to look it up.
I just listened to it on a PBD podcast like 2 days ago. I'm like, well, that's kind of fascinating. I guess they're revamping the code, but it is interesting that like no matter to your point, what you said, you're being controlled. You be careful because it could be anything. Who's ever pulling the strings? In this case, it's Google. But like, Neuralink is Elon Musk, so you may not align with him politically. But that's what I was getting. So, would you like him to be kind of controlling?
I don't want him near me, so no. No, thank you.
You don't like Elon?
No, he's a fucking creep. Don't sue me, okay? God, I'm gonna get like a cease and desist letter. Just kidding. You're so cute.
Elon Musk is fascinating. He's strange for sure. My sister hates him too.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, she sounds like a smart woman.
Well, he was a Democrat.
I know he was. Yeah.
And he flipped. He said, "I'm done." I don't know if he'd call himself Republican, but he's conservative now, specifically on like the freedom of speech thing. And I will. And I think way more about Twitter than I would. But would you say yes? Would you agree or disagree? Like prior to him moving it, making it X, or maybe even now still, that it was significantly left leaning on kind of the stuff you saw, or was it a mixed bag in your opinion?
Well, I would say first, I would like to say I'm like a conservative liberal. Okay, I don't believe in a lot of things that have been coming out like the far left. Like I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot. But no, so I do think like yes, we should have freedom of speech, but I also think that we need to remember that what we say has consequences, and the X that I see now is not the Twitter that I used to see. Like now, like they like I think I read somewhere it was like racism, like the racist comments on X went up like 100-something% or something like that. So like people are just saying whatever they want and they think it's okay. And I don't think you should be able to say derogatory, racist, xenophobic, like any of those things freely and think it's okay. So I mean, I think if you articulate things in like the correct manner where you're not being an asshole, then that's fine. But like to attack someone and then because it's now freedom of speech and like hide behind that, I just think you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, that's disgusting in general. I've always said this, and it's kind of controversial now because people like want to silence people's opinions. If it's hateful or if it's like you had just said, racist, xenophobic, yeah, that's separate. But just in a general sense, like if they don't agree with it, they want to silence that particular opinion.
No, I don't think they should do that. No.
And to me, honestly, like I agree with you, but like I would even pull back a little bit. Like I'm not opposed to somebody spouting off racial, disgusting, terrible things and not getting canceled because at least now we know, like we know who you are. And I think you should shine a spotlight on terrible ideas. And I think bad things grow in darkness. And so by you putting it out there in essentially what's the town square of Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, we're being able to flesh out good ideas and bad ideas. So if you say something that's terrible, typically the feed's going to let you know, like the population be like, yeah, dude, you're a jackass, dude, shut up. And we kind of just let everyone all of a sudden will have an opinion, a formed opinion. This guy sucks. However, if you block his account, his followers or, whatever, they're going to start maybe like coordinating it on Reddit or some other type where they can just kind of talk about these disgusting things privately to where maybe something can grow and fester from it. And I'm a big proponent.
Like January 6th.
Yeah. I mean, you could go that way. Yeah, for sure. We would probably disagree on. But yeah, I mean, we could definitely talk about that. I mean, like that was definitely a bruise on the history of this country. I mean,
a shit stain.
Yeah. It wasn't anything that I was particularly happy about.
I heard you were there, actually. Just kidding.
I was not there. Yeah. Yeah, I missed my plane ride. No, I was kidding.
God damn it.
But it is getting fascinating the way that, like, just in general, like, technology is kind of coming in, the evolution of artificial intelligence. It's getting like in the real estate space, like they're now making phone calls. Have you had the artificial intelligence physically call you yet?
I just hang up on people if I don't recognize them. Hello, Cami. Sorry. And then I block them. I just block them. Yeah. I mean, people are so freaking weird. I don't know whether it's AI or what. Like last night, I always put my phone on Do Not Disturb at like 8:45 because I like to read my smut books. And so I put it on Do Not Disturb. And I woke up today to 35 no caller ID calls. How crazy is that?
Is that abnormal for you? Like that?
No, they're usually like 100. But no, it's no. But I'm just like, what the fuck?
That's wild.
Yeah, it's just wild. And I've gotten the AI calls, yes, but I just block them like immediately.
And I'm being honest, like as far as I don't know if that's like because I never get. I mean, I get one or two, definitely not 35. But I would imagine in your situation with your background as well, you've got probably a lot of people that are trying to contact you or reach you. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Well, I try. So I have two phone numbers. Obviously, I have a business and a personal. And I try to, like, anything I put online, like if I advertise anything, like on my socials, I try to, like, not have my phone number on there. So if somebody really wants to find me, they will find me, because I do have to get reached. Like if somebody really does want, I do have to get reached. But it's funny. I have actually a funny story. I think like 3 weeks ago, I get a phone call and he's like, hi, my name is whatever. I want to sell my house, this and that. And I was like, okay. And I have my assistant, Chloe, I have her come with me to everything because she's learning as well. And because like, hello, if I'm going to beat this guy up, I need you to like tie him up. So he sounded a little weird, but I did background. I looked and I was like, okay, that's fine. So we get to the house. And I don't know. And then when I left, we talked about this in the car. And I was like, this makes more sense. So he's like, this guy and he looks like super disheveled and his house looks like a mess. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's just like telling me how his wife left him and they're like gonna have a divorce and like all this. And I'm just like, this is really odd. And the house was like dirty. And we would go in the rooms and he'd be like, yeah, this is my wife's stuff. She left me, as you know. So, and I'm like, okay, so I do like my listing presentation, all this stuff. And I leave and I'm like, I wonder, I was telling Chloe, I'm like, if I were that guy, and I wanted to get back at my ex-wife, I would totally have the ring on and to show like these two hot girls coming to my house. She doesn't know, and I was like, that guy's just a creep. Who knows? Like it was definitely like really, really weird.
Yeah.
It's just like really, I got like, I'm pretty good at like sensing stuff and I just got the heebie-jeebies. Like I was like, oh, if I was at myself, he would have like eaten my insides.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you had Chloe with you.
Oh yeah, she's going to beat him up for me.
And you and Chloe, obviously, I mean, because this is something that I talk to agents and with me, my style of real estate was if I meet, I was fine, right? Mm-hmm. If someone's like, hey, I'm want to list my home, like, all right, I do a little pre-qualifying, but I'd go and meet them. I understand also I'm 6'5", 270 pounds. It's different than if someone was to ask you, a perfect stranger or Chloe, hey, come to my house. I want to,
I always bring my gun too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, like, what preventive measures do you have in place to prevent that? Because I'm sure you deal with that significantly more than I do.
I have a gun and I tell them, like, I have no problem saying, like, hey, I have a gun, just so you know, so, like, don't fucking touch me.
You let them know?
Yeah, I tell them, I have a gun. Do you want to die today?
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, no, I tell him I have a gun. And then, I've taken self-defense courses in the past. Listen, let's be honest. I'm 5'2", 100 pounds. I will be like a spider monkey if anyone, like Mike Tyson ain't got shit on me. Like I will bite your face off if I have to. I will win. It doesn't matter at any means. Like if I will poke your eyes out, I don't care.
No, I believe it. That's why I said I was scared of you.
Yeah, like I don't care. Like I don't know. I'm little. I get it, but your girl's scrappy.
I believe it. Yeah. Good. Well, good to know. You announce it.
Frank's not worried. I'll tell you that. He's not worried. He's like, oh, she's fine. Just let her go.
That's awesome. Yeah. Speaking of Chloe, like your what would you call her?
Little protege.
Protege. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's a really so her family owns a brokerage in Spokane.
Yeah, that's right.
And so she's just like learning the ropes, and she's just like such like a wholesome, like good, not corrupted Vegas girl, So I'm just trying to keep her under my wing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, she's a sweet girl. I'm glad to see you two working together, and I'm seeing her being a little bit more like out in the field with you as well on showings.
Yeah,
it's always nice to work with people that you care about. And that's really cool that you're taking somebody. And
I know because everyone's like, do you want a team? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But so we could talk about it. We're doing a show together, obviously, we've known this. So she's on there with me. So I figured, okay, well, I'm going to be an asshole to everyone. I need an ally. So, I had to take her in and groom her to my liking.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. How is that coming along?
It's going really well.
Give me the deets.
Well, the deets are, it's in its final stages and we're hoping to get started to film in the summer. So it's in the final stages, but it's going to be a doozy for sure.
And so you and Chloe are both on the show. What is the whole premise of the show? What's it about?
It's basically it's me and teaching bottle girls because bottle girls in Vegas, they have a short lifespan.
Yeah.
And after they're done with bottles, what do? A lot of them get into real estate. Are they successful? No. So my job is to show them my way on how to become successful and how to make the most of your real estate career. So it's me like mentoring these girls.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I really like it. Yeah, you showed me the pilot.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, this is going to be pretty entertaining. It was really neat.
Yeah, a lot of stuff goes on.
And so you're going to balance, obviously, actually doing day-to-day real estate stuff with the show as well, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm very hands-on, like, with my clients. There's these higher-end realtors that, like, they have a million assistants. And I think that's great. Hey, if you can do that, that's fine. But, like, I'm so type A that I have to be in every situation when it comes to like my client and the home that they're purchasing or selling. So yeah, it's going to be a busy couple of months for sure.
Nice. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And then what's the show called?
I can't say.
Okay. Got it.
I will let you know once they give me the red light. There's a name for it, but it's tentative, I believe.
Got it. Okay. Very cool. All right, yeah, I look forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun.
You're going to be on there.
Oh,
I'm going to bring you on there.
Come on, what's up? Working on that for the show.
This is my bodyguard. His name's Mike.
That's right. What you need. That'd be cool.
He's a fan of Elon Musk. That's fine.
Get out. Yeah. There's a difference. Like, I'm not a fanboy, but I do respect what he's done. I think
he's smart.
Yeah.
I do. I really do.
I have a theory, and I think Elon Musk is from a different, and this isn't like out of the world thinking, Elon Musk is an alien that has been sent to Earth to save us. And he's saving us through by
giving Donald Trump his account back on Twitter.
No. He's obviously, spearheading solar, so he's saving the world energy wise. He's also going to get us to Mars because eventually, like as aliens, they know, we don't have a tremendous amount of time left on Earth. So we're going to need to inhabit a different one to carry on. And he's also, this is the most, you'll probably disagree with this part, he's protecting freedom of speech through his acquisition of X. So, which is very important.
He's a fucking crusader.
It's my theory on Elon Musk, but there's a lot of things he's doing that are, obviously a net positive to humanity. Mm-hmm. You could disagree on that last part, but the theory checks out. He's trying to save humanity from ourselves, everybody. So respect to Elon Musk. I wanted to talk about.
Give Mike his coffee. He's delirious.
I know, no coffee for me today. I needed it. I wanted to talk about, obviously going back to your real estate. You are the official real estate agent of the Raiders.
Well, I don't know if I could say I'm official because I don't know if they can say that. But I do a lot of the Raiders, and when I say do, I mean I sell their houses.
Yeah,
and they buy houses with me. Yes.
Every time I've gone to your house a handful of times for birthday parties, and all the Raiders, or the offensive line is the entire offensive line for the Raiders are there, and they're massive individuals.
I just love them. They're big teddy bears. They're like my little big brothers. That's what I call them.
Your next door neighbor is Colton.
Yep.
From how tall is he? 6'9"?
6'8". Ooh. Yeah, he's the best. I love his family. I love his girlfriend. They're really cool people.
Yeah. They're all sweet. They're very intimidating, because they're just massive human beings. But when you get to know them, they're just regular people. They like to eat their meat. They're barbecuing up a storm, but very, very sweet people. And you could tell they really care about you.
Yeah, they're scared of me. That's why. No, they're really awesome. I love them all. They're just like big teddy bears. If I want to bitch at them, they're just like, okay, Cami. Yeah. But no, honestly, they're really good people.
And it's funny. I tell a story. I've probably said it to you. I've repeated it multiple times, but I think it's funny. My son, when he was less than a year, we came over to your house, and all of them took turns holding him. And I'm a big guy, right? I'm 6'5". Again, I'm 6'5", 270. So I'm already a large individual. And now my son sees these larger individuals. And so that's his perspective of what human beings look like at this stage in his life.
Neanderthals, just huge, giants.
He's thinking, of course, this is 1-year-old brain, holy shit, these things are massive on this. They're not real, obviously he's not really doing it, but that these are just extraordinarily large human beings. Just 1% of the population. But it was really funny because just watching them hold my little dude with their humongous hands. But it's really neat. I see them at the gym sometimes too, and it's just they really do, and they go to bat for you as well. I remember that one time you were telling me a story where another player tried to bring in a different real estate agent, and you gave him hell.
Yes. It was when the Raiders first came in. It was during COVID, and I was 7 months pregnant, and it was in August. And one of my guys calls me, and he's like, "Hey, X, Y, and Z brought his real estate agent. You need to come tomorrow and introduce yourself." I'm like, all right, my big ass will be there tomorrow. And I was it was August. It was 115 degrees, and I'm just huge, and I'm just waddling in there. And they're like, guys, this is my real estate agent. I'm like, hey, but it was cool. So yeah, they're all great, Decky loves Colton. She calls him Uncle Colton, so she sees him on TV and she's like, Uncle Colton. And so she always sees him. And then Easton loves Jermaine Illuminor. I mean, when she first saw him, I have pictures where she was just like in a trance. She was touching his beard. When we would try to grab her, she wouldn't let us. I've never seen her like that. So she has good taste in men.
That's awesome.
I'll give it to her.
It's adorable. Yeah, and you talked about it too, obviously having, we both have this in common. We have very little, we have young children. What is that like balancing a hectic, you already have a pretty busy schedule, add in a reality TV show to the mix, obviously being a mother, that's a lot on your plate. How are you managing that?
listen, I'm not going to lie. I have nannies, so you have to, Brent works from home, which is good because he sees the girls all the time. I'm constantly in and out of the house. So I wish I could be like, oh yeah, my schedule, like this time. I can't. You know how it is. You have somebody call you, you got to go, because as a lot of these buyers or sellers, they want instant gratification. So if they want to meet us in the next half an hour, you meet them in the next half an hour, because if not, they're going to call somebody else. Yeah. And that's just how it is.
That's right.
That's the society we live in.
It's the reality that we're in, correct?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having nannies. We use yours as well sometimes, and she's great. Like, it's just you need that leverage at times, if anything, just for like a break to breathe.
A break, yeah. Getting my nails done. No, but I mean, we have a pretty consistent schedule, and I always make sure I'm there for when the girls have bath time and when they're going to bed. Because I love to, like, we do our little prayers, even though I don't even believe it, but whatever, we just pray, and then, I read them their books and they go to bed. So it's nice. It just sucks that sometimes I want to be there during the day or I want to do something like different for them. So we kind of like keep it to the weekends if we can.
Yeah.
But then I think, like, I'm lucky because A, we can have our girls at home, and B, like, I don't have to stick to a 9-to-5 job where, I'm just, what are they doing? What's going on? I can, we have cameras in the house, but I come in and out all the time and I can see them.
Right.
So I'm grateful for it, but I do really wish that I could spend more time with them.
It's tough.
It is, because they grow so fast.
Yeah. That balance that everyone's trying to achieve or talks about, it's all bullshit. There is no balance. I mean, you could stay at home all day, but then you're not going to make really any money, and then you're going to have to like move out from your awesome house. And
unless you marry like a multi-millionaire, but then you're never going to see him because he's out there cheating on you with some young hot girl.
That's right.
Give or take.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there is no like just, and it's because everyone wants it. Like, I do that. I deal with that with Molly sometimes. She's like, you're at the office too much. And it's like, then I'll work from home. And it's like, all right, you're neglecting the business now. It's like, okay, well, shit, I can't do nothing right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same. You know what I mean? So
Brent works from home and he drives me nuts. I'm like, can you go to the office, please? Like, for one day, because you're driving me crazy. He's like, don't you love me? Like, yeah, it depends on the day.
Right, not right now.
Yeah.
And how? Because you talked about, like, they are at a certain point where school is going to be a conversation. I don't know how you feel about that. We haven't really talked about it either. Like, schooling. Do you have like a plan already? You just.
So Declan, she's 3 years old. We went to a Montessori, like we went 3 times and she just was like, no. And the 4th time we just took her like, okay, let's see. Because I like it because they have Spanish immersion and she's bilingual. She's bilingual. So we take her. Well, Decky was just like not having it. She kicked the guy in the nuts and was like, no, thank you. And like, we were like, well, this is not going to work out. So I can't tell you, but if it were up to me, I would have my kids home all the time and have them homeschooled. But that's very selfish because they obviously need socialization. But I don't know. Like this, every place is so fucked. Like this world is so fucked. You see all these like school shootings and, or hearing about a kid went to school with a gun. Like it's crazy because when I was in high school, 2005, I think was my senior year or my junior year, one of those. Like that's when I feel like it kind of started. So we had someone, they found a hit list in the bathroom at my school and then like with a knife. And it was like a big thing all over the news because I don't think like school shootings had really happened. I know Columbine happened, but like it wasn't so frequent.
Right.
And my name was on the fucking list. Okay, it was some kid behind me in fucking science. I don't even know his name. Like it was just weird. So I just think of stuff like that, and I don't even know what I would do if my kid was at a school and there's like an alert that there's a shooting. Like, I'm sorry, I am not going to be sitting out in the parking lot sobbing in my hands. Bitch, I will be there with a gun. I will be flying through a window. Yeah. I look like Spider-Man. I don't care. Like, I want my kid. I'm going to get my kid. I'm going to shoot you right through the dome because that's why I practice like all the time. Yeah. And, it's very scary. And it's a scary world. And I don't know what's going to happen with the future with our kids, you know, because we can only protect them so much.
Yeah. And then what you said, it's selfish to protect them too much. You know, if you restrict them from going to school, and yeah, it is way more dangerous to go to school now than it was when we were their age.
Yeah.
But you take from them too, like socializing with kids and like playing and just becoming like little independent little things. You know what I mean? Like it's depriving them of that experience.
Well, have you seen like, when we were younger, we could go to, sleepovers and all that stuff. When I just read yesterday that this creepy fuckface dad, like his daughter had a sleepover and they're 12 years old. And he gave them mango smoothies and there was benzos in them. And one of the girls, I guess, didn't really drink it or something like that. And she texted her mom at 1 a.m., please come get me, even if I don't, respond. Please come get me and say it's a family emergency. And they arrested him and all that. But like, how fucked is that? That's just crazy to me. So like, I'm sorry, you're never going to a sleepover, kid, ever. Yeah. Like, I don't care. And they're not going to sleep at our house either because there's no need. There's no need.
Right. And that's a parent, you know what I mean? Like that's somebody that you would assume with a daughter that should be okay, that should be safe.
Your father should be the person like you emulate to marry, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and to have that type of like trust broken, I mean, it just drives me crazy to think about it. There's some fucked up people in this world and we need to, get rid of them.
It's sickening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the school shootings above all else. Like, there's a lot of like different reasons that I could cite as far as like me not being too extremely excited about putting mine into school right now, or like when he comes to that age. But the school shootings of all of them got me the most. Like, it makes me feel unsafe. I get anxiety. I can't stop like stressing about it when like he's not around. So what I'm trying to do, I'm thinking of different alternatives, and I may end up just doing the regular schooling, but like just keeping him super active. Like my wife's Molly's a stay-at-home mom, so she undivided attention. I mean, this kid is loved, but like obviously he's not hanging out with other kids at the house because right now he's our only one. So we just keep him active as hell. Like we enrolled him in soccer, we enrolled him in gymnastics. He has music class, swim class. She does like this ABC at the rec center. So like that's kind of like been our substitute as far as getting him to socialize with other kids. And then I guess we'll figure it out. But what I do see, because like having this conversation as far as there's a lot of parents that are just not really excited about public school for a variety of reasons. And they're going to start forming, I think, pods.
That's what they're doing. Yeah. That's what I've heard, like the homeschooling pods.
I'm interested in that. People with like maybe potential values or just families that and can trust. Like, hey, let's get our kids together. We'll pool money, whatever it looks like, and just have them being taught from this one particular instructor. I don't know. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah,
that's definitely something I've thought about. And not just that, forget school shootings, like even like daycare, like teachers or preschool teachers, I've seen like those crazy videos where they're like super mean to the kid. Like, listen, you fucking bitch, I will gut you if I watch a video and you like push my kid or shake my kid or hit my kid. Yep. Like, you're going to regret the day you fucking were born. If I see anything like that with my kid or any kid.
I saw one recently. There was two of them. They both had like scary masks on. Did you see this?
Oh my God, scaring the shit out of the kid. I mean, that was pretty funny. But yeah, no, like that's crazy.
They were screaming at these little kids.
I know. That is fucked up. It was funny, but it was fucked up.
I say for like, for a second and then you take the mask off. Haha, that's fine. But like they kept it on and they were doing it for like a really long time.
That's just traumatizing because I hate scary movies.
And to be honest with you, no one gets to scare my kid but me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At this age. Yeah. Not even like if we go to like, the Haunted Mansion at Disney, like we're gonna have an issue if you make my kid cry.
Yeah. Like only I can make my kid cry, you dumb bitch. Right. Don't you dare.
But it is crazy. Like the school shootings, I mean, it's a lot to do with, there's the huge argument, like obviously access to guns. There's mental health in America. There is the trendiness involved where it's like these people have nothing to live for, right? But they're like, you know what? That Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris from Columbine, man, they're like, everybody knows who they are. You know what I mean? Like they died in 1999 and yet we're still talking about them. That's what they think that they're going to get. That's their legacy. Yeah. And what we need to stop doing, and I see some people do it, but they're still not like, they haven't like adopted this together. Like they need to not mention these people's names at all. We don't need to see what they look like. But then
there's stupid people that are like, oh yeah, that didn't really happen. Yeah. Because, they're not saying who it is. That's and they're, like it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. No, you're right about that too. I think, it's challenging because even then, like you talk about in America, how the school shootings were like up here compared to anywhere else. But also an interesting statistic is like, and this has anything to do with like access to guns. It's just in general, serial killers in America, like way up here. And like the second place is like here. And it kind of correlates to like the school shooting, just showing like violence. Americans like violence.
Well, have you seen the video games?
Right. The movies, like everything that we glamorize.
No, I know. The video games, the movies, even commercials. Things that you try to like evade from your child seeing, and they're going to see it. Even cartoons. But then, God, I can't believe, like, hello, remember the Roadrunner and all that stuff? We get ran over and beat up. But I don't think, I don't know, actually. I'm not a psychologist, so don't quote me on that. But it's crazy how different things affect people differently, Because like growing up, that didn't affect me. Like I never saw like, oh, I'm just going to run someone over because I saw the Roadrunner. But I never played what is it called? Call of Duty? No, or what's the other one? Yeah, that one.
Any of those like first person shooters or whatever, like it really puts you in like
reality.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of like numbs you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just weird. I don't know how we got here, and it's very sad. It is.
And you can't make a blanket rule because same thing. I played video games. I played GTA. I've never once thought about shooting at my school.
But mental health is obviously a big thing here, and I think it has to do with a lot of things. It has to do with the food that we eat. Yes. It has to do with the environment. It has to do with, the upbringing. It has to do with a lot of things. And unfortunately, it's kind of gotten so out of hand. How do you like reel it back in?
There's so many things. Like the food is for starters. Not medicating everybody. Like you go to a doctor's and you're like 300 pounds and say, man, I'm always tired and I'm just really depressed.
Here's some depression pills.
And instead exactly. Instead of saying, hey, go to the gym and like eat clean for like, a couple months and then come back and we'll see. They're just like, yeah, here's some depression pills. Exactly. And then they're on these things for life.
Well, and then they don't monitor them and they don't ask them, how I've been on depression pills before and I thank God had a good experience, but like I'm also I was diagnosed with OCD, but I'm OCD when I was like reading up on everything and making sure that I was doing everything correctly and not drinking on them and not, being reckless on them, which a lot of people do become reckless on them. And then they make you even more depressed. And it's just, there's no follow-up in the United States. Like even when I had my girls, like I had postpartum with Declan. And I was totally naive and I didn't want to believe that I did. And I did. Now looking back, I did. And I feel like the follow-up for moms should be more than just like a stupid little survey that they give you where you can lie on it, instead of like having a conversation with you or going to the home life of the mom and seeing how she's interacting and seeing her in her space, which is what I think other countries do. They send you like a nurse to see how you're doing and check up on you. So there's a lot of things that or a lot of details that we're lacking here in the United States that would make things so much better. Whether it be like a nurse coming to the house or even a phone call to, a patient to see how they're handling meds. Just those little things I think would have made such a big difference, but we've just gotten so numb to it all that there's no helping.
Yeah, I think we're just detached.
Yeah.
Doctors are no exception. They're just detached.
Because they're getting paid by pharmaceutical companies to push, certain pills.
Totally. They're incentivized financially to do these things. So hell, why not? They got to pay their bills too. And that's kind of going back to what we were talking about. Like, man, I'm not really too excited about throwing my kid out into the world because nobody will give a fuck about him. You know what I mean? Like reality. I know like he's going to have friends and other people that really care about him, but like by and large, like they don't care.
We think our kid's the cutest thing that ever walked this earth. Other people might not. They'll be like, okay, whatever. It's just another student in my class.
Yes.
And that's what's wrong. Like I remember teachers used to care. They used to love their job. But you know what? Now that they're getting paid shit, okay, why are you going to care if your job doesn't care about you? Why should you care about your job?
Yeah. I mean, how are you going to get teachers exactly? Like if you're not getting paid enough, like it's a hard sell. Like, wait, you want me to do all these things and then be stellar at it, and then you barely can pay me enough to where I can live?
Well, I know that I have a client, a referral I just got. She works in California, I think San Diego, and there's like some program going on here in Vegas that if you work in California or wherever, I don't know, but they bring you here and they'll pay you your salary that you were making, plus I think like an extra 15%, which is crazy. But the teachers now that are here are upset because they're like, what do you mean? Because that incentive is only for new teachers coming from out of state. So the new teachers that are coming from out of state are making more money than the teachers that are already here.
Ooh.
And so instead of investing the money into the teachers that are already here, they're trying to get more teachers. It's just a mess. I don't know who makes this shit up, but they need to get fired.
Yeah, that's a hard one. It's challenging, but yeah. Well, I think that's all the time we have today. It's approximately 9:10. Thank you. We made it. Thank you so much, Cami. I really appreciate having you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you were awesome. This was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Awesome, everybody. Take care.
Bye.